What's up everybody, Swillow here, and today I'm going to be answering a big question that everybody has. Is Attack on Titan 2 worth it? So I'm going to answer this over the course of a few particular categories. The first category is going to be as a fan service game. Is this a good fan service experience? Does it properly represent the Attack on Titan franchise? The second category is going to be as a Koei Tecmo game. Is this a good game if you're a fan of Koei Tecmo style games? As this game does follow some of their design styles and philosophies that you may have seen in other games. Is this a good action game? Do you like fast-paced, technical action experience games and you're just looking for your next action fix? Is this a good game? And lastly, I want to talk about people have been mentioning like I played the first game, I liked, I didn't like, so on and so forth. Like how much of an improvement is this game? Is it worth it based on my experience with the first game? So let's get right into it. First off, we have as a fan service game. Is this a good fan service game? To me, this is one of the best fan service games I've ever played. It does an amazing job at presenting the series. It tells the story from the anime season 1 and 2, and they have the unique twist of the created character as well, which is super well done. They really seamlessly integrated it in a way that doesn't feel awkward character element, so I think they did an amazing job at giving you the Attack on Titan story experience, except you get to put yourself into it, which is neat, and I think they did it perfectly. They also have like all the characters in this game. In the first game, there was only like a handful of playable characters, and something that's very occasional in fan service anime type games in general is that you'll always have those situations where certain characters just aren't in the game, and people are always like, this character's missing, that character's missing, and that was definitely like a case with the first game as well, but not in this game. Like they just have all the characters here. It's super cool, and it just makes the game feel like a very definitive, proper, and complete Attack on Titan experience. So I feel like if you're an Attack on Titan fan, this is definitely the game to be playing because it's a very rich and full experience for anybody who's a fan of the series. Next up, as a Koei Tecmo game, is this a good game to play if you're a fan of Koei Tecmo style games? And I would say it definitely is. It features like the trademark fast-paced action, adrenaline rushing gameplay that you'll typically get from games like Warriors, Tokiden, and such. On top of that, it also has the very lengthy post-game grinding for the people who love to optimize. Easily, I can see an upwards of 100 or more hours to fully like optimize and upgrade and power up your characters and tackle the most difficult content the game has to offer. They did a pretty amazing job in that regards, and giving you that trademark fast-paced gameplay with a lot of lengthy content to grind and keep yourself invested. You know, you definitely like a lot of people will often equate like how much time they can spend on a game to the quality of the game and if it's worth it. So if you're like with that type of person that needs like a lot of playtime out of your game to feel like you're getting your money's worth, I feel like this is definitely a game that can pull that off. It's going to take you a very long time to do what would be considered like a proper completion of this game in terms of completing like all the hardest challenging content and getting the best gear and stuff and getting that gear upgraded. So this game definitely it does it really well. It does a really amazing job in that regard, in feeling like it's giving you a lot of bang for your buck in playtime. Third up is as an action game. So you just like action games and you're looking for your next action game fix. Is this worth it? So I feel like it's worth it just because of Attack on Titan being such a unique, unorthodox series. It's different from what you've normally played. You know, for me, like, I love playing the good, solid, traditional stuff, but I also like to experience things that are abstract as well. You know, it's always nice to try something a little different from the ordinary. And I think like if you're kind of a more open-minded action gamer like that, and you want to play a game that is a little the typical, this is a great pick to go. It has all the fast-paced, good tight controls, and it has like a lot of little technical aspects to master. This is like stuff I especially became apparent to when I played versus mode. The versus mode definitely opened my eyes to like how much you can optimize your gameplay and just optimize your attacking, your movement and such. Because I've had the pleasure of playing with some players online that are super good, and definitely made me like push my gameplay skills to the max to be able to compete against them, which is great. So I think it's great. It's a mechanically great game that definitely leaves a lot of room for people who are very technical, or people that like mastering. They like taking like a good tight control scheme and just really pushing it and maximizing their play within it. So this game does a great job as an action game in fulfilling like all the kind of needs and desires a typical action game player might have. You know, now that's obviously like a generalization. That could maybe what I feel is appropriate for an action game is different from someone else, but overall I feel like it provides like a very proper action game experience with enough substance and a very tight control scheme. I think that's one of the most important things that people are always going to want when you play an action game. It's very important for the game to have good controls, like good, tight, responsive controls that are able to represent your skill as a player. And I think this game succeeds in that regard. Next up, like, if you've played the first game, is this game worth it? What does this game bring to the table for people who played the first game? And I think that at first look, a lot of people are like, this just looks like the same game. And there's definitely a lot of familiarity. They took the first game and they pretty much did what feels like a remake. It doesn't even feel like a sequel. It's not even necessarily like a follow-up to the first game. You don't even have to play the first game. Because of how they designed this game, you can pretty much ignore the existence of the first game. Just because they took the game and they revamped it. They retold the story from scratch. They just redesigned the whole structure of the game while still maintaining like the whole essence and core of the first game. So I feel like this is like the call it Attack on Titan 2 implies it's like a sequel, and it's definitely like a sequel, but it feels like a more definitive, properly realized version of the first game. And there's so many like little things that like you have to actually be playing the game to really like this is a big improvement, that's a big improvement. Just looking at the game, you're going to be like, this all looks kind of the same, but when you get it in your hands, you're like, wow, this is cool. They have all these little tweaks, like these great tweaks, these great enhancements that all lead to this game just being like a really, really strong and vast improvement over the first game. If you like the first game, like, it just makes sense to play this game. It's definitely worth it. And if you didn't like the first game, is this game going to change your mind? It really depends on why you didn't like the first game. It's largely the same. It has been tweaked and improved, but it's still like the same game. Like, if you just played the first game and you're like, wow, I don't like this, then you're probably not, like, this game isn't doing a lot to change up its identity in a way that if you just didn't like much about the first game, that you're just going to magically like this game. But if you had like little, I don't know, if you had little problems with like maybe the roster was too small, maybe the gameplay was a little too limited. Like, the gameplay here, you're still largely going to do a lot of what you did in the first game, but they did add some new mechanics as well that definitely round out the experience to feel not so simplistic. So I feel like if you did play the first game, if you liked the first game, you should definitely be playing this game. If you didn't like the first game, you're really gonna have to research like you're gonna have to ask yourself why you didn't like the first game and research if, or even just ask in my comments and I'll try to answer, like, is this game doing enough to actually like change my mind? Because in a way I want to say no, but it's not. I want to say that it's not doing a lot that's gonna come off as a completely new game, but it is doing enough to where it's rounding out the it's rounding out the parts of the first game that were just kind of rough and unpleasant, to making a game that all around just feels more pleasant. Like, I don't really have a lot of it's hard for me to say anything bad about this game. I feel like they definitely did an amazing job around the board on all aspects. Presentation, music is great, controls are great, the gameplay's been refined in the right ways, the challenge is there, the online is amazing, everything just feels right. It's not like it's the perfect, it's not like it's a world revolutionary game, but everything just works, and it works really well. And as an Attack on Titan fan, as an action game fan, as a Koei Tecmo fan, I'm properly satisfied in all those categories. And as a fan of the first game, like, I played the first game and I loved the first game a lot, but the first game was definitely like, you're like, this can be better, that can be better, and they made it all better here, which is all you can really ask for. So is this game worth it? It is definitely worth it. You know, your own personal preferences on what's worth it, but I really feel like this game is just it's a very excellent sequel. It's an excellent follow-up to the first game, and it's a very wholesome experience. Like, there's a lot to do here. It properly represents the Attack on Titan franchise, so that even if you're not even an Attack on Titan fan, this is a great first way to get into the series. Like, maybe you're looking for something to get you into the series. This is definitely like the kind of game that could get you into Attack on Titan. So I definitely say check it out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I will always do my best to answer any questions people have. And I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope I was able to just kind of let you know what's up. I will definitely be making a lot more video content. You can also watch a lot of the videos I've already put up. If you also have any specific content you would like to see, let me know again in the comments, just so I can make stuff that people might want to see specifically. And that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.